I have not boyfriend now.
No?
I don't have.
So sad.
I have not. No, I don't have. You said broaden my thought. It's okay, broaden my thoughts, broaden my thinking. Probably most common is my mind. To broaden my mind, expand my mind.
I have a question.
Yep.
Boyfriend, I want to talk about just friends, but his
Friend.
Just friend.
Friend. Friend.
Friend.
Male friend.
Male friend.
We never said. I have a friend. How can I think of it?
You say I have.
You want to specify that he's a
I
guy.
might ask.
But why is that important? I have a friend. He's a guy. I have a. Maybe I heard guy friend before. I never heard male friend.
Male
I have a guy friend.
guy friend.
I have a friend who's this way.
It's funny. I have a friend who's a guy, so he knows about blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, there are sometimes instances where you must specify, but it's not common, I guess. Yeah. Girls sometimes say my girlfriend. Just means my friend who's a girl. They always say, "Oh, my girlfriend." But if a guy says girlfriend, it's different, obviously. No, my clothes almost consist of this style. You need to add the word all. My clothes almost all consist of this style. I want to Bridget Jones. I want to be Bridget Jones. And then you said when the blind date.
When?
You should say either during or on. A lot of times we say on a date, to go on a date. Also, or you could just say during the date, blah, blah, blah. During the blind date, on the blind date. Johnny, you said grow up the country, Korea. I think you said that before, right? A country does not really grow up. Grow up is for a kid growing up. Just grow. Yeah. You need two investor. You need an investor. You need to find an investor. You just don't have your second verb in that sentence, right? Need is a verb, but you need to has to be followed with a verb. It's just a simple one. Really hard to going up. You were talking about the career. We a lot of times say advance. You know, we talk about career advancement. It's really hard to advance. It's really hard to advance in your career. Instead of just say going up. You said, is big change for me. You were talking about what is important. Is big change for me. I think you wanted to say it changed a lot for me. If you're talking about a big change, it's like, oh, I moved to a new area. It was a really big change for me. I switched schools. It was a really big change for me. Something happened and it was a really big change. But you were just talking about like your thoughts and your values. So there was no real big change, just it changed a lot for me, for me. And I really love two musical movies. Same as before, two investor, two musical movies. You need a verb there. I really love to see musical movies, watch musical movies. June, the female figures are so minor. Oh, you were talking about the numbers. I would say low instead of minor. Minor sounds like not important as opposed to low numerically. And then you said I failed. I understand, but follow it up with like I failed to find it. I failed to blah blah blah. If you just say I failed, it's kind of harsh. Like I took the test and I failed. It's like you really failed something. So there was something kind of minor, so it was too harsh. But you could say I failed to find it. I don't want to be one character of the movie. It's a small mistake, but you would say a character in the movie. If you say one character, I thought you were talking about some specific character, so I was waiting for your example, right? I don't want to be one character in the movie, Ted. The others are okay. You were where you use one like that is giving like a really specific example. So just grow up. I didn't understand. Grow up with mentality and his music. Mentality. You didn't mean mental illness, mental problem, no? I just didn't know exactly what you meant. Grow up with the mentality of loving music or something like that, maybe. And then you said exaggeration is kind of bad things, but exaggeration is one thing, a bad thing. Yeah. Ted, not many chances to wear. I didn't have many chances. I didn't have many chances to wear. Again, you said momentary. I think you meant to say temporary. And you said making me really joyful. Grammatically, it's okay, but it's just sounds... We say something makes me happy. If you want to use the word joy, it's not as common to use the word joy, but it's not really strange. You could say it brings me joy. Yeah. And Sungmin, you said the main directions. The main directions. Oh, directors. You don't want to say the main directors. You mean... Actually, it's funny because a good word to say is the majority of directors. A large majority of directors. And it's funny that word, because actually, what is the opposite of majority? Minority. But here, it's completely different. But imagine that it's not talking about minorities, right? The majority of people in America drive a car. The majority of, meaning most of, would be a good phrase to use there. You said in the conclusion. No the. Again, it's a small mistake, but if you say the conclusion, it sounds like you're talking about a book or an essay, especially an essay. The conclusion. In these days, no, in these days. I inspired that brand a lot. If you say I inspired that brand a lot, you sound very important. They were inspired by you? No, I think you meant to say I was inspired by. If you inspired the brand, I don't think you inspired the brand. Maybe Beyonce inspired the brand. Or some really famous, important person inspired that brand. I don't think you did, though. And last one, he will success, he will succeed, or he will be success, he will be successful. All three of those are okay. Any questions? No. Nope. Okay, guys.